How do you work on your confidence?
You got to love yourself.
The first thing you got to do is look at yourself and really realize that unless you love yourself and the self-sabotaging voices that exist, if you're not aware of them, then how can you talk to them?
Hey, Common Sensester, thank you so much for watching today. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and let us know what you think afterwards. Today, I'm just delighted to be able to bring to you one of the best Hollywood couples in LA. They're just fabulous. And what's so great about them is they're not only a couple, but they also work together very well. So I want to introduce you to Yeniffer Behrens Mendoza and Mauricio Mendoza. I love watching you guys on Facebook. And I just want to start off with that because I love 1111 conversations. So tell us what exactly that is.
Before we tell you, it wouldn't be right if we didn't do this, right? Feel the vibe. We are jumping into our magical elevator, going up to the magical 11th floor to do what? To have the best spiritual party ever. And that's what 1111 is, right? It's the best spiritual party ever. I mean, it really was born from a need to connect with our community, with ourselves during one of the scariest times in history that we all of a sudden in March, life just completely changed for the whole world.
Right.
So for a whole month, we were like, we thought it was just going to be 2 weeks. And then it turned into a month and then another, and then it was like, they're not going back to school till fall. And so I just woke up one night, at 5 a.m, and my higher self said, you need to go and tell your husband, you guys are going to get on live Facebook and just chat with your community and check in and see how they're doing and do it at that magical hour, which is 11:11. 11:11 for me has always been a really magical number. It's a master number. It's a manifestation number. It's a spiritual number that I've always resonated with. And so he loved the idea, and I was so happy that he did. And, it's evolved. Honestly, we didn't think it was going to be for so long because we thought that it was just going to be during quarantine for us to connect with our community and let everybody know that we're in this together and just to kind of, help each other out spiritually. And then it's just evolved into this wonderful hour where we really know that people love it and people do need to connect and need to feel that sense of oneness. And it's a beautiful thing.
Well, one of the things also is that I can't say this was my idea at all. When COVID hit, Yeniffer had been wanting to do a show like that. She wanted us to also get on social media and really be more active. And I was always hesitant about it. I was just like, God, I don't want to be one of those other actors who gets on social media and needs the comments and tell people I'm on a set. I just don't want to be that guy. She goes, no, but that's not what I'm saying. Let's just do a show. Let's pick a theme every single day and let's do it. So for about 2 years, she's been talking about doing this, and she wanted to do it with me. And during this COVID, I found myself really stuck because we know that Hollywood shut down on us, right? So Yeniffer and I, we had no auditions that we knew were going to be coming in. We were not going to be able to produce a movie this year, and we were shut down that way. And also our kids were at home, so there was this stress that affected me more than it affected her, and when she brought the idea up about just getting our feelings out and sharing what we were going through, that maybe we would be able to connect with other people and see what people were feeling. And I was dumbfounded that people actually wanted this. They all of a sudden started asking for it. And if you see the show now to when it started 150 shows ago, it was literally
just
us on our
phones.
phone.
It was just like fun.
And it's grown. Now we have a set, and now we have like a structure to it that has grown out of the need. And all of a sudden I felt like, wow, we are really serving a community that I didn't even realize was there. So honestly, it was all Jenn's idea. I love, waking up in the morning, and she said healing cards, and we look at our book, Mental Toughness, and we look at, conversations.
I love it.
It's just a beautiful thing.
Who are you going to be, right, in the face of adversity? Are you going to choose to succumb to the fear and to the news and just contract, or are you going to expand? Are you going to take this time to take, my gosh, take life and go, no, we're doing this. We're leaders. We love our life, and everything's going to be fine, and we're going to get through this together.
And Lydia, the most beautiful thing around it is once we took our focus from the fear and the worry, I'm not kidding you. All of a sudden, we started getting calls to host things. All of a sudden, we started getting auditions, and all of a sudden, we started booking. I was on set last week. All of a sudden, we created our 2 websites, Shortcut to Hollywood.biz, where we're teaching. We created this. We joined UPW family, KKB. So we created these 2 new businesses. Also, we just got really busy. And the producing, all of a sudden we got this project that we've been producing called COVID-19 Sins and Virtues. All of a sudden, because we took our focus from that, all of a sudden all this creative stuff started happening.
The energy opened up.
Shifted.
So we shifted the energy, exactly.
What have you gotten personally and spiritually from doing 11/11?
A lot of healing. On a personal level, the confirmation that my inner voice was right, that it was something we needed to do. And I think it's brought us closer together as a couple on another level. On another level.
We're close, but it's brought to another level.
Right. It's just taken us to that next level of self-development together. Because I personally feel that we're finally at the same level where I would do these angel cards before, and he'd be like, "Oh, you're so cute." I do my bells and my chanting and my meditation.
¿Cómo está mi bruja?
And so, but now I
would say beautiful bruja, by the way. I enjoy it.
He's enjoying it. He's gotten the value of it, and he respects it now, right? Like he understands it too, and because he's experienced it. And when we're having the conversation, we always start, as you know, with an angel card. We pick an angel card, and then depending on, like today, Saturdays were usually sexy Saturdays, so we would dress up. I'm like, Monday it'll be motivational Monday, Tuesday it'll be truth Tuesday. We can play truth or dare. Wednesday, wisdom Wednesday, and Thursday theatrical Thursday, Friday finance Friday, fitness, family, fun, and Saturday sexy Saturday. So I was looking forward to getting dressed up every Saturday, because that was another thing. It's like, are we gonna stay in our pajamas all day for the rest of the year? Like, no, like the whole world stayed in their pajamas. We were like,
oh my goodness.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you one thing that that really, really has helped me through 11/11, and something very important that has happened for me as a public figure, as an actor, is that it's made me more humble, in the sense that I've been able to open up on a more personal level with people, because I've always been very private. I'm a very playful guy at home, but there's this persona of all the stuff that I've done through my career where I'm this serious guy, right? So I'm very private. Even if you see my social media, if you go back to 2 months ago, I don't post a lot of stuff about me. I'll post things about the production company. So it has opened me up to be vulnerable, in front of everybody. And we'll talk
more real, right?
Right.
Just to be really,
so if we
really
have,
authentic and real, because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, and we're all going through the same thing. And being able to really discuss real life topics is really freeing.
Yeah, because we talk about, our marriage, we'll talk about raising our children, we'll talk about all the, spiritual stuff that we're doing. We'll talk about exercise. We'll talk, if we had a breakdown yesterday we talked about a breakdown that we had as a couple, and how, because we're doing everything that has helped us emotionally, also we know we have a strategy. We go, okay, we know exactly how to,
right,
how to
and
break
especially
this.
with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi in our lives, for the last year, we actually we started KBB last year, and then
Tell us what KBB is.
the Knowledge Broker
Blueprint.
So KBB, yes, it's just a beautiful community, right? It's a beautiful community that Dean has created of supporting one another to really share our expertise and extract from our mess in our life, making it our message and bringing it to the world, to help, to educate,
to be of service,
yes.
To communicate. And I loved when you reached out to me. I'm like, oh yeah, she's doing it too, because you're KBB.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Another Latina, right? I mean,
yes.
with UW, there was a lot of Latinos on there, and we were super happy to see that, because it's usually not that many of us.
And UWP is?
UPW is Unleash
the Power Within. Right, and that's Anthony Robbins' program.
Yes. And he's just incredible.
I mean, but because of these two human beings and the work that we've done, all of a sudden, Yeniffer and I had always taught acting, but we did seminars where we would go 3 days. We'd go to Mexico. So we would only do 3 days where we could find it in our schedule. And because of COVID, all of a sudden we went, oh, wait, KBB, let's remember, we could create a website. Oh, wait a minute, we could create. And all of a sudden we just got into this creative mode on how we could.
Because we're all pivoted to the virtual world.
But also, again, one of the things that always stopped me to teaching was, okay, there's so much in Los Angeles about acting and acting classes. And so I said, how can we be different? And then Yeniffer said, hey, how about this? And then we started talking about how we could be different.
Well, we've never had mentors, right? When we never had mentors when we got here 25 years ago, right?
What brought you both to Los Angeles? Because you came from Miami?
Our acting careers, I mean, for me, I started in Miami, and I booked a movie opposite Sam Bottoms, may rest in peace, and Karen Black as well. And 20 years ago.
And Marco Rodriguez.
Wow.
Played my dad.
Wow.
The funny thing is that Lydia Carrillo was supposed to play my mom, and that was one of the selling points. I remember when they were offering me the part after it was like a 6-month process of self-tapes back then.
Wow.
I put myself on tape with VHS tapes.
Holy moly.
And I needed to know how to do gymnastics, and because I was a cheerleader, so I knew a lot of tricks. And so I put myself on tape. I sent that in, and they liked it. It was good enough for them to send me the script and the scenes that I needed to put myself on tape for. And I did that. And then 2 months later is when I got the call and the offer to fly me out from Miami to San Francisco for 6 weeks. And that was the dream come true. And that's what brought me to LA.
But you had Marco, one of the selling points was Lydia and Marco.
Right. But then Elpidia couldn't do it any longer for some reason. She couldn't do the project, and they hired someone locally in San Francisco, but Marco did. And he was just so sweet to me, and he was my very first dad in LA. In San Francisco, but yeah, definitely in LA. And I took the train from San Francisco to LA while I was here, and 6 months later I just moved back. I moved back to LA because it was time. It was that dream of going to school and knowing that I wanted to come out to LA to pursue my acting career, and that's what propelled it. Angel Blue is the name of the.
Well, they call it. They change it for Lifetime. They change it to.
Yes, Lifetime bought it
and Little Lolita or something. What was
well, my character was based on like Little Lolita because I was playing 15, and I was early 20s playing 15. I had my first love scene in a movie with a 40-year-old.
Wow.
Marco, my dad's best friend. I fell in love with my father's best friend, and he fell in love with me.
Wow. And what brought you to Los Angeles?
I live in San Diego. I've been performing all my life. Both my parents have had us singing and dancing. There's 5 of us, and we all sing and we all dance.
Your twin is a performer as well?
Performer as well.
Holy moly.
He's not performing as much. The last 15 years he's directing and choreographing for major musical theaters around the world.
Wow.
That's what he does now. But we always knew that this is what we wanted to do, because I always say I don't feel like I chose it. It chose me. And the reason I moved to LA is because I went to New York for 3 weeks because I was going to do the Broadway thing. I went with some money. I said, let me try this out. Let me just feel it out. And I miss my family so much that I said, you know what? I'm going to move to LA. I'll just start doing theater out of LA. And all of a sudden, I did a showcase through the Old Globe Theater program where I got my master's program.
In San Diego.
In San Diego, yeah. There's a master's program through the Old Globe Theater in San Diego. And because of that, there was so many agencies interested in me in Los Angeles. So I got signed by the Gage Group.
Yes.
When I first moved to LA. So I had no idea that I was going into television. They saw me in this thing. They loved my look. They loved that I spoke Spanish. And they said, hey, let's give this, we'll send you to theater stuff, but let's give this TV thing a shot. And then here I am, Wow. I always thought I was going to be a guy doing musical theater, singing and dancing. And then I had completely fell in love with television, learned to undo a lot because I was a classically trained actor. My mentor through my whole career, from the moment I saw him, was Raul Julia.
The best.
I want to be the next Raul Julia. And if people follow his career, he really started in the theater.
Right.
He's a classically trained actor. He sang, and he found the movies also. And I just always wanted to be him. So I always knew, I was very clear on what it was that I want to do. And so here I am, years later, fell in love with movies, movie making. I do one theater show, one musical a year. Last year I did American Mariachi at the South Coast Repertory Theater in Orange County. And the year before I was at the Goodman with Destiny of Desire, with Evelina Fernandez and Jose Luis. And, just feel blessed that we get to do what we love.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I go between the theater, television, film producing. Now we got shortcut to Hollywood, and we get to mentor young actors.
Exactly, which is what I was saying, that we didn't have the mentorship when we first got here, when we first left our families and left. For me, it was cross country. I was here completely by myself. And I really wish that I had the mentorship. And so for me, that as an artist, we struggle with a lot of stuff, right? But if you don't have your family around, it just kind of makes it worse. It just, on top of the rejection and on top of whatever it is, if you don't have that support system, it's just harder. So I feel that it's my passion. It's one of my passions to give back to young actors that are just getting into town and have no idea where to start. And we've already been able to help so many, a handful since we started a year ago. And to see them thriving so fast and seeing the sparkle in their eye, knowing that they have us to count on. And when we work mindset with them, because mindset is
everything.
It's
mindset is everything.
And so that's the biggest struggle of the human
Also-
being, and especially artists,
Also through KBB, we really became, with Dean Graziosi and Tony through their course, once we really started implementing and really started diving into what our superpower was and
Right.
how we could really make a difference in actors, not just being an acting teacher, we
Right.
really realized, wow, we know what the story is. We have over 50 years of experience together in Hollywood. We have a female perspective, the male perspective. We have the Latino perspective, which is being the minority. And so we know the diversity conversation. We knew exactly what we could bring to students that would be absolutely different than anybody is doing in Los Angeles.
The mentorship program that you started, how can somebody who's just coming into Los Angeles connect with you?
Right. So our website is called Shortcut to Hollywood.
.biz.
The number 2?
Yes.
Okay.
The number 2. Shortcut to Hollywood. .biz, and you can also send us a messenger. You can find us on Instagram as well.
Also Mastermind.
And we have a mastermind course that we just put up in mastermind.com. And I just want to, rewind a little bit. The reason we started putting people on tape, we started offering acting workshops, but in that process, we realized that every single actor, when they came to us to put themselves on tape, they were having the biggest monster in their mind. They were all nervous. We realized we need to mentor. We would spend more time coaching them with mindset than with the acting. And we realized, this is incredible, because how many times have we had those moments as actors through our careers, right? And that is the biggest piece that is missing in university
in the training.
education, in the training. The mindset for an actor is now it's evolved. I see, there's so many that are offering mindset work, and I'm so happy about that, because it's definitely taking the struggle out of the actor.
Let's talk about 3 different mindset tools that actors must have.
First is the first thing that we sell before we even sell our acting is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work on your confidence?
You got to love yourself.
The first thing you got to do is look at yourself and really realize that unless you love yourself and the self-sabotaging voices that exist, if you're not aware of them, then how can you talk to them? So that's one of the things that we really spend time with our students, is talking about their stories and the self-sabotaging ideas, these concepts that they've picked up.
So, right. Well, they're the limiting beliefs, right? But the very first thing is we teach them to love who they are right now. They don't need to lose 10 pounds to get the next set of pictures, right? Or they're here, they're getting ready to do a self-tape, and they're concerned because, oh gosh, I still haven't lost the 10 pounds. It's like, that doesn't matter. You are perfect the way you are right now. And if you got the audition, it's a blessing. Focus on what you can control and focus on that you are enough. So we tell them to say, I am enough. I am enough. It's so important, because we just don't feel, everyone walks around feeling not enough.
Not good enough, not talented enough.
So bizarre, isn't it true?
And especially if you're a minor, if you're a Latino or you're African American, we've already been conditioned to have these weak thoughts. Or people are not going to like me. Oh my God, I'm Latino. Oh, I'm black. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be on the Hollywood.
Or I'm not pretty enough. Or I'm not tall enough. Or I'm not skinny enough. Or I'm whatever it is. So that's the first thing, to become aware. Like Mauricio said, make awareness your best friend. Make awareness your best friend. Write down those limiting beliefs, like write down what you want, and then write down what is in the way of you accomplishing that. And that way you just get it all out and not not squish it and pretend that it's not there.
Right. And since you're saying it's you want 3, one of the other ones that we do, we work on that, and then we start with a slate, because slate is the most basic thing an actor has to learn how to do, but the most uncomfortable thing an actor has to learn to do, because it's just them.
Right.
So we'll talk about power position, and we let them learn the slate, and then we'll jump in onto a monologue. I'm a firm believer in monologues. Why? Because it's the one time that we will learn if an actor understands pure technique, and learning to trust themselves alone. Because the hardest thing to learn how to do is to learn to be alone.
Right.
So that's another thing we instill in them, is to learn to be okay with loving yourself and being alone, and that you're enough, and that if you love yourself enough to be alone, then look at the power that you're creating, right? Because the audition doesn't start when you're saying the lines. The audition starts the moment you enter.
Well, it actually starts before you enter the room.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you're nervous, be nervous.
Absolutely.
If you're irritated, be irritated. Those nuances help you as an actor. Because we're not perfect. You brought that up earlier. We are not perfect. We will never be perfect. But if we come in and we take ownership of whatever the hell we're doing, then we win. Even if we don't book the job, when we walk out of the room, they're going to remember us because we made an impression.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I got to tell you that's always been, I've always been able to use the nerves. What I tell them is those nerves that we feel, that little jittery bug that we feel, that's performance nerves. Learn to love that. And don't say, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. No, say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I get to do what I love. And that is going to help you really just enjoy the process, and using it, especially when it's an emotional scene. I mean, for me, I'm like, yay, I get to use my real nerves because I'm supposed to be nervous in the scene. No problem. I got that.
But they also get to hear our stories about, botched auditions. They get to hear that even though I've been at this for over 30 years, I have botched auditions. I have allowed my nerves to, it's a normal thing. We can't go, for perfections. As long as we're constantly thinking that we need to be perfect, we are dead in the water.
Exactly.
So it's also about learning to enjoy the progress. So we teach them about, the third thing is, how do you win the game? Going into an audition, not thinking about, I gotta be perfect. Is how can I win this game today? Can I win over my nerves? Or okay, I can do this whole thing off book for this audition, and give yourself a game and play a game with yourself in the audition.
And to add to that, come into the room to be of service.
Exactly.
Because it takes it off of you, right? The onus is now off of you. How can I help you?
Absolutely. And that is a great point that you bring up, because another thing that we talk about is don't make the casting director or the directors or those people that are watching you better than you. And don't make yourself better than them. You guys are equal and you're here to collaborate. And if you are the perfect piece for the puzzle that they're building, it's going to be yours. But you need to own that and see it as a collaboration. I'm here to serve. I'm here to solve your problem because I know you're looking for me, right?
Right.
And I can definitely be the best, character, whatever it is that you're looking for.
Right.
So it's that. And there was another thing that I wanted to say, y se me olvidó.
It's also knowing that even though you don't get that job, you'll be brought in for another job.
Yes. Having fun.
Yeah.
Don't forget to have fun. This must be fun.
Yeah.
Well,
if you're not having fun, even in the nervousness of it all.
I learned this from Tony Robbins years ago, and that is to anchor yourself. right? So before you go into the audition, anchor yourself, jump up and down, get that energy going, so that it's not frenetic. It's actually, you're being able to laser it into a specific area. So if you jump up and down, go, oh, I'm nervous, oh, whatever, and then you just come in, take your breath, and then just be present. It makes a difference when you hit your mark.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things.
And it's a practice. It's a muscle.
Yeah. I mean, most of my career, what I do before an audition is I'm in my car and I'll do 20 minutes of self-talk, of confidence. I'll put YouTube and I'll let something just talk me through my feelings and just become aware. And then I'll go for a walk around the block. So I get my blood pumping. So I don't go into an audition completely and utterly cold.
Right.
I get myself like I'm about to get on a wrestling match or a boxing, and I'm already warm. Exactly. So I tell everybody, that's action. I'm changing my state.
One other thing that I would add to that is also the more you know character, right? If you're going in, the more you know the life of that character, you can use that to anchor you in. Right?
Absolutely, and you want to have character thoughts. If you're in your actor thoughts, that means you're not in what you're going to do. You're not in your work, So that is so important. Joe Police, I studied with him, and when
who was it?
Joe Police.
Okay.
Rest in peace. He was a wonderful actor and teacher, and he would always say, "Are you in your actor thoughts or in your character thoughts?" Because if you're in your actor thoughts, that's when you're listening to all your nerves and all the chatter in your mind. But if you're in your character thoughts, the character can be nervous, and it's great because you are using it, and you're in the story, you're in the moment, And it was a really wonderful scene study class that I did for a few years.
I think that is an excellent tool to encourage people to be in their character thoughts. I've never heard that, but I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it, girl. I'm taking that. That's just wonderful to be into that space, because then you come in full.
Yes.
You're not, like a Jekyll and Hyde. They just see the character. That I think that's brilliant. I just want to say thank you so much for doing this. You guys are the best. I love you guys. You're now part of my family. I love you guys. Abracito.
Common sense, papito.
That's right. Yes, we can have common sense, papito. Absolutely. Absolutely.
No papitos out there. I like your show.
Thank you so much. This has been just a great time to speak with like-minded people. That's a treat, because we speak to people all the time, but when we can connect on a real deeper level because we understand certain things, that I love that to me is just delightful.
Well, one of the ways we close every episode on our show is we say we love you, we appreciate you, and we are here for each other.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us feedback of what you thought. Did you have any questions? Do you need any answers? And look in the description below for all the information of how you can get a hold of Yeniffer and Mauricio and their programs, and find out about their producing stuff and their mindset classes, their acting classes, and their financial freedom classes. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.